Season 4 of Chef's Deliciousness and Cocktails starts right now. Woo!
And here we are back in for the edition of Trey's Chow Down Live, Season 4, Episode 4. Season 4, Episode 4 with Quincy. How about that? 4-4. Remember old Chuck Wheeler?
I was just 2 and 2.
Yeah, 2 and 2. Chuck Wheeler, he made that famous, didn't he?
Absolutely.
I'm sitting there with Quincy Wallace from the world's famous Fred's Hamburgers. We're going to get with him in a minute after we get through doing all of our announcements here. So here we go. The World Food Championships. We're going to be a head judge there. We're going to give away up to $300,000. That's next month in Dallas. If you've not looked that up, look it up. World Food Championships. You can get a 3 or 4 day pass. They have VIP lounges. You can eat all the food you want to eat, drink. It's a fantastic deal. World Food Championships. Check that out. Also, next month, we got Chef for Farmers in Dallas. Check that out, Chef for Farmers. It's going to be a great event. That's where all the chefs and stuff come, and we they have all the dishes you pick out. You eat one price. You eat all you want, or as much as you can get with all the people there. They also have VIP lounge. They have all kinds of stuff. Chef for Farmers. Google it. The one thing I am super excited about at the end of the month here is the Day of the Dead brunch at B&B Butchers. You ever been to B&B Butchers?
I haven't. I'm ashamed to admit that I haven't, and I'm sorry.
They're having a Day of the Dead brunch where you can wear costumes and stuff. It's crazy, so I'm excited.
I read about it.
Yeah. B&B Butcher, you can go to their gram or hit them up on the Book of Faces, and the information's there. As I told y'all last week and the week before, beef and pork prices are still doubling through the roof. When you go to the restaurants and you go to the barbecue restaurants and steak restaurants, please be easy on them. They didn't raise the prices because they're trying to get rich. They're just trying to pay the bills. Aren't they, Quincy?
Yes.
Yeah. And last but not least, be nice. Be nice, be kind, be courteous to all the restaurant service people.
They showed up.
They showed up, yeah.
The ones that are there showed up today. And please be nice.
Yeah.
Please, pretty please.
Yeah. I don't think people realize what a serious deal it is. It just it blows me away.
We're blessed at Fred's, but please be nice. They showed up to work today.
Yeah.
All the ones that are there, front of house and back of house.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
It's crazy.
I still have a hard time believing that. See, and this is why I told Jana yesterday. I said, Jana, what do you? I said we were coming back from doing a review somewhere, and I said, Jana, where do you think all the people are? I mean, they got to be somewhere, because if they're not working, they got to be paying for rent and paying for gas and paying for food in their mouth. Even if they don't pay for rent, they got to pay for food and gas. Where are they all?
I think a lot of people that were good in the restaurant industry moved industries because we didn't have room for them for so long. I that's what I hope has happened.
Yeah.
I hope that the industry is not just sitting around. I just can't imagine that they're all sitting around. Everybody I know in the industry has a job.
Yeah. They can't. You're right. They cannot be sitting at home. They just can't.
So I think the reason that a lot of our service, and I don't even just mean restaurant, is trip. I think they got in a different industry because they had to pay the bills. I don't know what's happening worldwide, but I think that's what's happening in Fort Worth.
Yeah. Or Dallas, North Texas.
Yeah.
North
I don't know much about Dallas. I apologize. I'm a Layman Carter-esque when it comes to Dallas.
I know you are.
But I do love the Meat Fight group over in Dallas. I love them. Big shout out for the Meat Fight. If y'all don't know what that is, find out.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Find out about Meat Fight out there.
That's neat. When is that this year?
They've got some stuff in the pipe. I'm not sure exactly the dates of anything. I know we don't have a 21 meat fight coming. Look for something in 22.
Okay.
But keep your eyes peeled for meat fight stuff for sure. I know there's some stuff in the books that we're involved in. So
what? Hey, Quincy, are you doing the Fort Worth Food and Wine Festival this year?
I am. Did not. I did the shooting for chefs and will be out of town on the 24th, the next week, the weekend of the 22nd, and so I'm not doing the event they invited me to. I was already double booked, or I was already booked and could not do that. We'll see what happens. I'm not making promises to do anything this year as far as outside the restaurant. I don't have the team that I had pre-COVID. We're building it back, but instead of taking. If right now, in order to do any event, I have to take from the restaurant.
Right, and you can't do it.
And
you can't do it.
They either just got off work or are headed to work tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's just
it's
not
a
fair.
double for sure. Whoever's there, they're working a double.
There's only so much steam they can put in the engine before they got arrested, right? So Quincy, you are from Fort Worth, correct?
Born and raised.
Born and raised Fort Worth. And Fred started. When did Fred start? When did Fred open the doors first?
1978.
That's right, 1970. I thought it was 74. I was close. I was close, but no cigars. My granddad
We used to smoke cigars in Fred's.
Yeah.
I can remember cigars. I can remember the day cigar smoking stopped at Fred's.
Yeah.
Terry put it into cigars. He let the cigarette smokers stay.
Yeah.
But I remember the last cigar smoked in there.
Well, the original Fred's was so small. Cigars would really fill it up, boy. But it'd be kind of hazy in there, wouldn't it?
Oh, and it was. And we had one old boy. It was a packed Friday night, and he was puffing on his big, $10, yes sir, big cigar. And Terry asked him if he'd please put that cigar out, one time, and he kind of gruffed at him, and then Terry said, "No, really, please, would you put it out? It's a little too smoky in here." And as nice as he could. In Terry fashion, this old boy looked straight at Terry, and just puffed cigar smoke all over Terry. And then I'll leave the story there.
I bet.
We don't smoke.
Yeah.
We didn't smoke cigars in there. And I remember the last cigarette smoked in there too. There's a fire involved in that one.
Wow, isn't that crazy? Well, in the restaurant industry, don't think about how much changes we've seen. We've seen the no smoking. We've seen all the ADA changes. There's in the last three decades has been massive change, especially in the last decade.
A lot of changes for the better.
Yeah.
I miss the smoking section as an ex-smoker, but I don't.
I know, yeah.
At the same time.
Well, you know what? I remember when I was a kid, and we used to fly on Braniff to go anywhere, and they would be smoke on the airplane, and there'd be a haze of smoke right above your head all the way down, first class all the way back.
That was just fine.
Pilots be up there puffing away, cigarette in their lip, just doing this as they talk like this. Yeah,
it's wild. My dad was a smoker. His dad was a smoker, or an ex-smoker. He didn't smoke when I was alive, and my great-grandfather was a smoker, and always every cigarette that he's in has a cigarette in it. And my dad, to this day, will not take a picture without a cigarette in his hand, and it's an ode to his grandfather.
Yeah. Well, back in that, all my grandparents smoked. Every one of them, both grandddads, grandma. I mean, it was just that was just what, that's what you did.
My grandparents didn't smoke, but they had ashtrays and cigarettes and matches. And if a party were to happen, that was all sitting out. I'm like
all the time.
Always, it was just there.
So how did they come up with Fred's? How did the creation of Fred's actually come about, or was the ideal form to open it up?
My business partner Terry Chandler's parents bought Ken's Cafe in 1978. Right. Ken's was. So from my understanding, this is just the truth as I know it.
Yeah, right.
Was that building was a house, and I'm not sure when it was built.
Right.
I do know it was in the flood of '49
with the Montgomery wards and all that. Yeah,
Montgomery wards and all. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure this is the lineage. It was a home.
Right.
And then it was called Vera's La Mode.
Okay.
And then in the 50s, Vera sold to a couple called Gene and Lottie, and it was called G&L's Cafe.
Wow.
And from my understanding, Gene would not ask you to leave, but he might sweep your feet.
Oh, that's funny.
And then Ken bought Fred. Ken bought G&L Cafe, and then and that's when I came in the picture.
Okay.
Which is odd because I'm 46.
Yeah, but you and Terry were friends.
No, well, that's later in my life. Terry's 10 years older than me. Around. My dad's cabinet shop was next door where American Gardens is.
Okay.
Now.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
The building that they kept, the American Gardens wrecked out a bunch of stuff, but the building they kept was was my dad's cabinet shop. So on Saturdays is when my mom would let my dad take me out of the house. I was there first, and so I was.
Awesome.
I never had a jarred baby food. My mom made it all.
Did she
I
really?
never wore a diaper that wasn't cloth. So my mom, so she's a little hippie. So my dad was allowed about when I was 1.5 or 2 to take me down on Saturdays to Ken's.
Yeah.
And then in 1978, JD and Gary bought JD and Gary, and they had 2 business partners their first year. And I want to say Lewis and I'll think of the name in a minute.
Yeah.
2 or 3 business partners had them bought out in the first year.
Right.
And then
and then they got it.
Then Fred, and how Fred's got its name. That was your original question.
Yeah.
Fred's got its name because back in 1978 there was not cell phones or even the communication wasn't as rapid as it was.
Right.
So his 2 partner, JD stayed on board for Ken stayed on board for 1 week to teach somebody, because these 3 people had never been in the restaurant
Only
industry.
a week.
1 week. 1 week to learn learn the recipes, and that was it.
Oh my
So,
God!
JD
Talk about learn by fire.
Yeah. You've got a breakfast and lunch business that's well known in the blue collar community, because the West 7th area was
That's what it was. Yeah, blue collar. Yeah.
was industrial blue collar.
Right.
One of the most bizarre things that happened in Fort Worth was that's last
I know.
to get developed.
Car lots on
we'll
the front.
go back to that in a minute. But so his Lewis and his other partner were down getting the phone and gas and electric and things like that transferred to JD's into the company name or their name. And they were like, we never thought of a name for this. And when you're filling out all those applications, you
got to have a name.
Gotta have a name. And apparently JD was always cussing that damn Fred. And so they thought it would be funny to name Fred's after JD's dog Fred, as kind of a jab I don't really know how to say it, kind of a jab at JD, because he was always cussing that dog.
That's so funny.
And
see, that's a great story.
And people wonder, because I'm now in the restaurant. We have 2 locations. We opened up that Fred's up north in 11, and they want to know, why is it not called Quincy's? They don't get they don't really understand the Fred behind it. And I love to tell that story.
That's funny. Let me ask you a question. I didn't see, this is a thing. As many times as we've ate together or spent time together or whatever, Chuck Wagon, whatever, I never knew that your dad's cabinet shop was the one that was across the street.
That's my tie is back predates, because it took me 3 years to ask my dad. We were going to Ken's on Saturday, and it was Fred's.
That's crazy. So they kept that one building, though. They kept the building that's north and south. They kept the building that was north and south. Is that the one they kept when they tore down, when they built American Gardens?
The building that runs north and south, yeah. And if you go in, I'm really glad that they saved the structure, because you couldn't build what they built today. It's basically galvanized pipe welded in a arch or dome, like a Kwanzaa hut. Right. You'd see it on ranches.
Yeah. It's a cool looking building.
It's a really neat building. I'm glad they were able to save it.
Yeah, I am too, but I'm sure it saved them some money too.
I hope.
I'm sure there was a whole gamut of things that was involved in that decision.
But I spent a lot of time over there. I learned how to pop the bottom of a Orange Crush bottle. In the parking lot.
So let me ask you a question. Do you ever come to your mind? Now that I know this, I can ask this question, because I love stories. Do you ever, when you're driving to work, do you ever think about, does your dad or your old times ever think about when you pass the building, you pass American Gardens, or has it just been there so long now you just don't think about it?
Oh, I love to think about driving to Fred's and or to my dad's building. And when they reopened I think they call it Trail Drive or something, the road behind Farrington Field.
Right.
As a kid, we would always take a right there to go by Van Zant Cottage and then through the parking lot of Farrington Field. And so when they reopened up that, I always thought it was weird that they closed that thoroughfare because that's just how you got to Fred's.
Right.
And when they reopened that way, every day that I drive past there, it reminds me of going to Fred's on Saturday with my dad. And, another thing about Fred's, when I was in high school, JD used to keep a spiral notebook with tabs in it. That's how he kept a tab. And
that's my grandma did for the meat company. Yeah, they had little tabs on the end. You just,
Yeah, and there'd be, Gary, 7 hash marks, large draws, 4 hash marks, small draws, 2 cheeseburgers. And so that's one of the ways that I survived through high school and my early adulthood was I'd charge it to my dad because.
Well, back in those days though, everybody had tabs. Rizza Drugstore had tabs. Rope Up Grocery had tabs. Kincaid's had tabs. They all had tabs.
Everybody had a tab.
Yeah.
And every once a month or whenever you got paid. Or whenever you paid who you owed.
Yeah, but people paid bills back then too.
They did. It was a handshake deal, gentleman's honor, if you will. I'm sure there was some sort of note written, but not at Fred's.
No, there was people just paid bills differently back then. People just paid their bills. It was a different.
You just paid what you owed.
Different scenario. Of course, back then there wasn't a bunch of credit card debt and all this other stuff people have now. It was just a whole different era.
Yeah, nobody had a. If you had a charge card, you had bukus of money.
So they made the leap. They moved it. They changed it. But back to if you look at the building, now that I know the history of the lineage of the building, if you stand back and look at the front of the building, it looks like an old diner.
Fred's.
It looks like an old diner.
And you have to really study to see the old walls that were there, and you can see that it's changed a couple of times, but it hasn't changed since Ken's.
Right.
The walls have stayed where. Now I take that back. In 2004, maybe I burned it down or caught it on fire one Friday night, and we blew out a wall and opened up the kitchen about 5.5 feet.
But the front has not changed. It's still the same.
It's still the same. Those fishbowl windows have been there. We've had to replace them a couple of times. I would think that no matter what happened, if you had another fire, you'd have to keep that and keep it looking like that for the second fire that we had, the fire that stopped us from allowing cigarette smokers in the building. We were about 6 months ahead of the city ordinance to allow cigarettes because somebody sat down in a booth and it opened up. A cigarette fell in there. Oh. It burned. This was about 3 months after I'd burned down the place for real.
You just fire prone in there?
Well, we were for a couple of years. And in fact, Terry, it was the last day of hunting season on the second fire, and Terry and I were in the deer blind all day long. We just got back to we were on a deer lease together.
Yeah.
Just got back into the trailer, lying to each other.
Right. Tell lies.
And the phone rings and it's I said hello. It was a number I didn't know. And he said, "This is Sergeant such and such of the 4th Fire Department. Your restaurant's just caught fire. Don't worry, we've put it out." And I said a few cuss words and hung up the phone because we had just 3 months. We'd been open maybe 3 months from a 9-month complete redo where the whole top of the building burned off.
Right.
And so the next thing, the cafe phone rings, and it's Sunday. We're closed on Sundays back then.
Yeah.
And so I answered, and he's like, "No, really, don't hang up on me. This is Sergeant from Fort Worth Fire Department. We've got your building put out." And so I'm in Strawn.
Oh, did you go back?
I said, "Terry, I need you to, close camp down."
Yeah.
We'd been out there all weekend. It was like I said, the last day of hunting season. We were trying to fill the freezer. We didn't. We were telling lies. So I skedaddled back and met my brother over there. We boarded it up, and then is now why it has the look it looks now. The first fire, I kind of tell this story real quick. It's a good one.
Yeah. What's just
The first fire, it was, I can't remember the band that was playing, but Terry was out of town. I think it was probably the first time that he left me in 100% charge of the restaurant.
And you burned. You had a fire. That's something to put on your resume.
Yeah. Well, it's mine now. So
Yeah. That's funny.
So the first night he's gone, the house is packed. I can't remember if Diners, Drives, and Dives hadn't been
there yet.
We were cooking ribeyes on at that time we had a 3-foot flat top on a 6-burner stove with two ovens below it. And that's what we were jamming on.
Yeah.
And Terry was still, we were doing pizza nights. We were doing Friday night spice night. It was humming. We were doing live music. There was the old patio with the white with the cantina was just a shack. The bar, the stage was on the other end.
Yeah.
And a whole slew of ribeyes came in, and the cooks just got hammered. And so I jumped in on the line, fired that, turned the flat top to 11, and went to whipping on these steaks. And before you know it, the whole back wall was on fire. Apparently,
From grease.
Some grease was between the flue.
Yeah, and caught.
And then we had just had they had just made us put a new Ansel system in.
Oh, boy.
And
that'll ruin your day.
it didn't go off.
Oh, it didn't go off.
No, one of our employees he pulled the Ansel's emergency button so hard that he ended up hurting himself. I can't remember what.
It still didn't go off?
Didn't go off. Did through the whole fire and everything, the Ansel system stayed on. Brand new.
Well, what happens? Those little deals melt, and then bam, it should go off, right?
You betcha.
Yeah. But it didn't.
But it didn't.
So what'd you do then? You can't put water out with a grease. You can't put.
The fire department. I should have thrown a bunch of salt on it, but in hindsight,
Yeah, but when it
got out of control.
You're just like, oh shit, get out of here.
Get out of here. The door used to open up. You push the door in because the ADA and rules were different back in the 50s when that was last burnt down.
The last.
There's that booth there's that small 2-top that's by the bathrooms. It's still there now.
Right.
But the door used to open up behind it. So we clear out the restaurant. I have to cuss people because they think that they think it's just steady as she goes. They're just cooking they're just cooking away. There's just smoking cigarettes. So I go, no, we got a fire going on, guys. Let's get out of here. Everybody grabs their schooner and goes across the street to what was it wasn't Buffalo Sound, but where the Irish pub is now.
It's Irish pub. Yeah,
everybody stood in their parking lot. I got the patio cleared off because there's a band playing. Full patio band playing. Everybody from there goes out. Come back inside to save some stuff hanging above the bar.
Right.
Some old Budweiser signage,
Right.
and there's a fella sitting at that table reading the paper.
He hadn't moved.
He hadn't moved. And I'm talking, the place is on fire at this point. And I have to hey, man, there's a fire.
Was he deaf or no?
He just was reading his paper, drinking beer, not paying attention to...
How many beers that he had?
You
don't know.
I'm guessing a 3, but... but
hey, they must have been cold-ass beers.
It was cold, and he was enjoying it. It just was smoke. It was different times. You didn't bothered by a whole bunch of smoke.
Yeah.
So the joint being on fire and everybody leaving, and the doors closed. He's all by himself. You remember that piano was out front, so he couldn't see. That piano was sitting in front of that window, so he couldn't see everybody piling over across the street. We got him out. Nobody got hurt except for Brandon. It seems like he cut himself or something on the pull chain that never went off.
Oh my gosh.
And then so we built that back, and then we had the second fire. So the funny part of that story is when I want to say Blackman Mooring came, they took everything off the walls, and there was a kid that went to TCU who came in for an art project and took a picture of every single wall in the restaurant. So we were able to recreate Fred's as close to we could.
That's awesome.
For those 3 months until it burned down again. And then a cigarette smoldered in a booth. The whole place just smoke damaged.
Yeah. But
it burned up along the door, and they realized that that header was only built out of a 2x4 instead of
Oh, man.
So they made us pull the whole front of the building off, put a laminated beam just to get those windows back in. We really wanted that to not lose that look.
Man, what a project.
So that building's got 4 walls in it.
Yeah.
And 2 of them are original.
That's just crazy. So if you skip, so you got all that redone, you skip forward. When did Diners Drive? When did Diners Drives and Dives come in there?
I want to say we were the first episode of season 2. Back then,
it was way back. I know.
It back then they were such a new concept. It was not the enterprise that it is now.
Right, yeah. It's a big steam engine now.
At the end of the show, it would say, please email or call if you know of a diners, drive-ins, and dives worthy place. And apparently at that time, we were the most recommended show to at that date. Now, like I said, it was the very first year. I don't even know if they were...
I just remember Terry cooking, and he kept saying yes sir. And Guy said, "If you say yes sir to me one more time, man."
I don't know that Guy was familiar with Texan.
Yeah.
As he maybe is now.
And they were both pretty big guys, so they were in that kitchen. They had people behind them. I mean, that kitchen was packed.
That kitchen was packed. You know, it back then the lights were huge.
Yeah,
the lights were hot. We couldn't for 2 days. We had to wear the same clothes. We shot on a Sunday and a Tuesday, and we all had to wear the same clothes.
Yeah. So it looked
Tuesday, so it looked like the same thing.
Right.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
But everything was so different than today. Like if somebody comes in now, you can almost. You won't know they're even there because their equipment's so small. Their lighting is not obtrusive, and it's not nearly as hot. Even like sitting in this studio now.
It's hot. People don't realize it's like when you're on a stage or something. All those lights are hot. People don't have any idea how hot it is.
It's hot.
It's hot. And then when you're in the kitchen, if you add the lights on top of all the kitchen equipment, and the ventilation is only there to be able to take out so much a cubic square at a time. It's like,
they make you turn ventilation off.
I know, because it's noisy.
Because that vent hood will.
And if it changes, it sucks up. Yeah, it's not good.
2 days, no vent hood, no music, no TV, because we didn't own the rights to none of that, and they weren't paying for any of it. So it's silent.
Yeah,
except for the chatter of the restaurant. Right. It was a really cool experience.
Yeah, but it was a good episode though too.
It was good. It was good.
When did it make the transformation? How did it make the transformation, or how was it transformed from the diner to Fred's to all the hamburgers and the hot dogs and the cool stuff, the creative stuff y'all do now? And was it a slow progression, or was it, as Terry said, y'all said, let's just start changing?
It was a slow progression. And if you look back at our menu now, it's more what it was before. Post-COVID, we're pre-diners, drive-ins, and dives. Yeah. We're back to the basics. Just burgers and chicken fried steaks now.
Yeah.
But we made a mistake, and we started adding to our menu because we stopped paying attention to what we wanted and what the public wanted. And it kind of took away from what we were good at, which is hamburgers.
Right. Well, hamburgers, chicken fried steaks.
Hamburgers and chicken fried steaks. And
Are you still doing tacos or no?
No. Yeah, but not really. We don't have any. I don't have any chicken on the menu except for kids right now. I've got a chicken tender. For one, chicken was the first volatile nut crazy protein after COVID, and I didn't want to throw away what I threw away ever. I don't ever want to do that again.
It's been irritating. Yeah.
I don't ever want to throw that much food away.
Yeah.
It almost brings a tear to my eye thinking about it. And I'm sure there's a lot of restaurateurs out there that think the same way. And that's why that there's not the 17-page
menu.
We're going to also do shrimp and grits and chicken and waffles and stuff that's not really Fred's that Terry and I enjoy cooking because we enjoy cooking.
Yeah.
And that's probably how it happened is we wanted to bring a little bit more of what we were doing for
what you enjoyed.
Yeah. And in hindsight, now that I've stripped everything down to a post-COVID menu, our quality's better. I think we're turning out less number of menu items at a much higher quality.
Yeah.
And not only is the quality of the raw product we're bringing in better, but we're also able to turn out
a good
finished product.
So, also too, even though COVID was bad, COVID made a lot of restaurateurs and restaurants and managers, whoever, chefs, reevaluate their operation. And I'm sure a lot of those people made the same decision you did, throwing all that food away. They probably started looking at, hey, how come I threw all this away? I didn't even sell one of these. When you have all that on a POS system, you can go back and look at your numbers on a POS system. But most people rarely do not go line by line by line by line every day on their.
We try to look at it every 3 months to take a dog off, but then you don't want to make Bob mad, who comes in every Wednesday and eats that hot dog.
No offense to a Bob.
No offense to a Bob. I was trying to get a generic name out there, but I got a
email,
a review just this week and somebody took their time out of their day to review me that didn't come to Fred's. They got online, looked at my menu, saw that I didn't have an outlaw chicken fried steak or a Mexican hot dog, and I got a 1-star review.
Oh, that's
so. And I am so sorry if you're watching. I am so sorry we don't have those two items. But the reason is they're the dog. They were dogs. Yeah. They don't. And the dog is something you get rid of in our world. Yeah. It's not profitable, and it's not. And it's not profitable, and it's not a seller either.
Yeah.
So we got rid of all that food that was in the freezers and refrigerators. Were dogs ultimately. So when we came back, we had such a limited staff that we're like, okay, what put us on the map? Burgers and chicken fried steaks. Right. That's what we're going to go hard.
Onion
burgers
rings.
And we did bring onion rings back.
I saw that, yeah.
But I don't know that it was, I don't think it was first.
Yeah.
I think it took some time.
Well, yeah. Because what you went through, yeah. So y'all shut down TCU, you shut down TCU, and you've got North and you've got West 7th.
We've got North and West 7th.
And North does, I've been to North 2 or 3 times. It does
a good one. It's a good one. It's North Fort Worth's Fred's of the 1990s.
Yeah.
It's a really homey. The neighborhood picked us up and supported us through COVID, and
I remember that. And you told me that.
It's got a really cool vibe for being in a strip center, completely different than what Curry is.
Are y'all going to, speaking of this now, winter and we're coming on fall, y'all going to do chili this year or not going to do chili? It's going to depend on sales. Don't know yet.
So I'll turn to that. We'll steer around it real quick. Okay. We were the one event that I have committed to do in the charity world this year is the 65 Roses. That was supposed to be Wednesday. Now it's on the 20th.
Right.
Well, I made 30 pounds of proteins worth of green chili lamb stew.
Oh boy!
And so we decided to put it as a LTO in the restaurants right now. Well, we started selling it Wednesday because that
it was the day you're supposed to have it.
Yeah. And it's been a hit. So I've asked my purveyor to please bring in lamb. I reordered it because I'm not going to serve week-old food.
Right. Right.
at that one charity event I'm going to do this year.
You're going to remake it.
So they called and were like, "Are you going to bring back lamb stew?" And I said, "Well, I don't think so." But then we sold it in like a day and a half.
So it's all gone.
So it's all gone.
Yeah. Obviously, it was good.
So we got more proteins for the show and for the restaurant. So we're going to bring it back in, which leads me to believe we'll probably do our Texas Red this winter.
I hope so, because you've won. Y'all win the top of my chili list every year, and it's just delicious chili. You load the cheese up. I mean, it's
hard. We tried to do chili that wasn't Fred's Texas Red for the last 2 years, and it was a big flop because you can't make our chili with hamburger meat.
Right.
The problem is we make our chili with, shoulder or a stew meat, if you will, and its beef is high, and so it's really hard to sell somebody a 8-ounce bowl of $22 chili.
Yeah, that might get you a review or two.
So that's why we, tried to appease the public by having a lower quality, and I don't mean low quality, but just different than a ground chili instead of a chili grind instead of a whole muscle chili. We'll go, if we do chili, it'll be whole muscle and it'll be expensive. I'm just going to bite the bullet, and obviously our customers want it, and they'll pay for good.
Well, I know I want it.
Lamb's through the roof right now.
Yeah, I'll bet it is. Yeah, well,
holy moly!
All the beef are just ridiculous.
Well, lamb I thought was cheap. I was like, yeah, we'll do lamb stew instead of pork because it should be less. Boy, was I wrong.
Were you taking a swag at that? You didn't check first?
Oh yeah, I didn't check. I just said send it.
You got a phone? You can Google it in 2 seconds. You don't have.
Okay, you're right.
But yeah,
my wife asked me how she could watch this online, and I said, "You give me a whole lot more tech credit than I deserve."
That's funny. So, what's the number one selling burger? Fred's.
The Fred burger with cheese. What made us famous is our Diablo burger.
Yeah. That's a good burger.
It's a tie between the Diablo and the Serrano burger now because people like spice. People love spice.
Yeah, they do like spice. They like a little heat. So
I don't give people enough credit for it. I try to make sure everything's a little more tamed down than I maybe would at a catering job or at a function.
Yeah.
For the public, but the public likes spicy.
Yeah,
I don't give them enough credit.
Yeah, that's just it. So now I saw I looked at your menu the other day, and you are back down to the basics, and I guess that's even though too it's not only is it easier for you to survive now, it's easier for you to facilitate all that at both restaurants because of the staffing and what's going on with supply chain.
Supply chain has a lot to do with it, and mainly it's supply chain. Yeah. I don't want to put something back on the menu,
but you can't get.
And then it's a hit like this lamb stew. I'm going on an LTO, limited time offer.
Yeah.
For those non-industry folks listening, I'm doing that. So
do you really
there's
think
no expectation of that thing being there next week?
Do you really think people hear limited time offer? They don't hear that. They just hear
the green chili lamb stew.
Yeah, that's what they hear.
They didn't pay.
You got green chilies, which people love now in Texas.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my! In fact, people love green chilies so much that Terry and I decided to step away from the hatch and whoa, y'all can have this thing. We brought it. I'm not saying we brought it, but we sure were one of the first.
Yeah.
I mean, Central Market had Terry and I come roast their first batch of chilies. That's how.
Yeah.
Terry used to go up to New Mexico.
Yeah.
And bring back a pickup load, and that's how we did hatches.
Have you seen the fight going on between Colorado and Mexico with the green chili?
No, I'm not.
Colorado's doing their own green chilies now, right? They're growing their own green chilies, and they're fighting and so now there's billboards. Like one billboard in Colorado, I saw the guy sent me said only 122 miles of the best green chili in the world was going to New Mexico. So yeah, they're fighting, and if you go online, people are talking about how good it is in Colorado and to me, green chili comes from Mexico. That's where it's going to come from. That's just from that.
You know, we're back on Sandia green hatch green chilies that we got off of the spicy ones, and I didn't know there was a war, but that's because I buy Hatch chilies in Hatch, New Mexico.
That's right, where they came from.
That's where they come. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'd go Anaheim.
Yeah, Hatch are not. Now jalapenos, depending on where you get them, or not when you get them. Period. Jalapenos are they're not anywhere near the same. Hatch are all pretty consistent, aren't they? In heat and flavor.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's levels of heat.
Right.
There's several different growers that grow a mild, a medium, and a hot. We try to stay with the extra hot Sandia line.
But but each pepper's pretty much the same. Now jalapenos, depending on which one you get, it's not the same. It's not consistent.
Well, that's not to knock the A&M, but they've created a jalapeno that doesn't have heat to it. It's got good flavor, but there's no heat. And
genetically modified.
Yeah. And hats off to them. But I think that the Hatch peppers are still Hatch peppers because I want to say they're the champagne of peppers.
Yeah. They're not going to change them. They're not going to change them. It's the seeds, it's the soil, it's everything about New Mexico.
It has to be. You can't bring a Hatch pepper to Fort Worth and grow it. I mean, you can.
No, they
but
tried.
Then it's called a pepper.
Yeah, they try, but it's not the same. It doesn't come out the same.
It doesn't do what it. I mean, you can get a pepper, but it's not a Hatch pepper. It's a backyard Fort Worth pepper.
Right. Originally pepper.
It's
or
originally Hills pepper.
Whatever, yeah. Wherever you go to grow it.
East Side pepper.
Yeah, that's right. So what's your most exciting thing about Fred's? What do you enjoy most about Fred's?
I enjoy most I like to talk about being there my whole life and just carrying on a lineage through different locations. I like the fact that our guests feel like that they're walking into their living room. That they have a relationship with the management team, the waiters, myself. I enjoy sitting on my front porch and people waving and saying hello, Quincy, and I don't know them from my neighborhood. I know them from the store.
Fred's, baby, Fred's.
It's just the love that gets put into the food that comes from the love. Everybody just is.
Everybody loves Fred's.
It's a family thing. I like the fact that I'm seeing kids whose parents in the 90s went to TCU and they've grown up here, and I've seen their kids grow up through and their kids may not even know that I know who they are,
right? But
now they're coming into Fred's and they're coming in, maybe the North Store don't even realize the connection to the two, but it's just it's really cool to see that, to see a turnover again. And I've got young nieces and nephews that I hope will they want to go have a hamburger at my place, but I don't know that they understand that how long 43 years
it's a long time
to be selling hamburgers is.
Well, you know what, it goes by fast, so doesn't it? Goes by fast. Hey, y'all have music Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or what's the
Friday,
music
Saturday, Sunday at the Curry Street location.
Okay. But
we haven't brought the music back there. Not sure if we will. It doesn't have an outdoor patio like.
Yeah, and it does.
It ruins some people's
ambiance there.
Yeah. And I don't want to take away from. I don't want an artist to ever feel like they're just the radio on in the background.
Yeah.
And the way that place is set up, it was just kind of. It just wasn't a music room.
Right.
Is what it is. It's not a music room. And there's too many good music rooms here.
Yeah, certain I mean, oh boy, tell me. They're everywhere now. Oh my Lord.
Oh heavens.
But the thing is that what you built with that patio there at the one at Curry Street or off of 7th, it's an ambiance, the music's, and it's never too loud. I mean, it's just great. I mean,
we're gonna always, as long as Fred's is on Curry, we'll always have live music on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and it'll always be free. Then that's the one thing that's different, and that kept us they talked about some free money for venues, and because I didn't charge a cover, that makes me not a music venue. I've been a music venue for.
It's okay though. No, you haven't. No, you haven't.
I'm like, what do you mean I haven't been a music venue? We started out with Hank Shaw.
Yeah.
At the corner of the bar playing the ukulele.
Yeah.
And with Gary Grammer and I can't even think of there was a three top, and we finally put music outside because they were in the daggum way.
Yeah,
we needed to see. I needed those 3 seats. I needed those 3 seats at the corner of the bar because I needed to sell beer.
You need the square footage,
and so we moved them all out. And I'll take it back. Those probably weren't the first. I bet Scott Copeland was one of the first to grace grace the front, right in front of the bathrooms.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, speaking of that, I want to know how everybody sold out in 7th Street. How did that? And I know I've talked to Terry about this before, but how did that process go down to where he didn't want to?
Well, here's what I saw. Now, Terry and I don't own that building.
Right.
Terry's parents own that building.
Right.
They made that investment in 1978, and for some reason are still holding on to it.
Yeah.
That's what I'll know.
Okay. Yeah.
But I saw, being the GM at the time down there, this is before I was an owner.
Right.
They sold that property with Fred's being let's call it the anchor tenant. They were all lovey-dovey to us during construction while they were swinging equipment on a crane above our building, and that we didn't say anything, and we thought we had a neighborly group moving in.
Yeah.
But to my surprise, as soon as we got built, that parking garage that was behind us, we weren't allowed to touch. And now I get people that are mad at me to this day. That thing's been around since 04 or 6 or 8. I don't even know what year. A long time.
Yeah.
And
you ought to know by now.
We've never been able to park in there, never been able to use it. And I still have to say we're not able to validate. We're not part of that neighborhood.
Yeah.
We are not part of that neighborhood.
No. We are Fred's neighborhood,
Fred's,
man.
We were there long before. I mean, that neighborhood was
Fred's Nation. How about that, Fred's Nation?
Fred's Texas. That's what before we hung the cafe on it. Fred's Texas was a destination. It was not. It was a place within Fort Worth, not
it still is a destination for a lot of people.
It is. I'm not that whole that is a destination area.
Yeah,
we are not. Is. We are now a one among many.
Yeah, and they just keep slinging them up. Boy,
this bottle blonde thing that's fixing to open up. I don't know anything about it, but whoa,
it's big. They're big. The one in Dallas, we've been there a few times. It's nice. It's nice. Whoa. It's big. Yeah,
I saw them rolling in the beer.
Yeah. The one they opened up this weekend.
I don't know.
The one in Dallas is 2 stories. Really nice.
This was 2. Is at least 2 stories, and it's 2. Apparently, it's 2 businesses.
Yeah, it probably is.
I heard a weird, word on the street that it was all that's a big middle finger to the guys at Concrete Cowboy.
I don't know. Oh, could be.
Apparently, wherever Concrete Cowboy goes, Bottle Blonde shows up right there behind him. And it sounds like there was like I'm going to take your business kind of in the beginning, but now it's like, hey, let's go get all the money.
Yeah, so many people are down there. You can't take the business away from everybody down there. There's too many people down there.
We're going to have the $1 million bars are. Yeah. Bottle Blonde, we just got a new player in this game of debauchery that goes on there between 12 and 2.
12 and 4.
12 and 4, yeah.
Because they got to get out of there.
12 and 2.
Yeah, 12 and 2. Yeah.
Yeah, I ran bars too. We don't run bars anymore. That's another thing. There won't be a 2 a.m. Fred's.
Yeah. Okay, so you have now because I looked at the menu. You have the burgers, you have the chicken fried steak, you have the onion rings, French fries. What are the few other things you have that you have on the menu still?
Our Queso Blancos pretty good.
Yeah, it is good.
It's real good. We've just updated it a little bit. There was a Rotel shortage during COVID.
Are you kidding me? There's everything shortage.
And I made that queso from the queso that my mother made me
Right.
as a kid, and
From
it had
scratch.
Rotel in it. Yeah, scratch, Velveeta cheese and
Yeah,
some queso.
yeah.
We made it a little more scratch at the restaurant, but
Right.
the Velveeta the Rotel tomatoes, I just kept it.
Yeah.
And when so in the service down the supply chain, the grocery stores are first in line, not the
Right.
restaurants.
Right.
There's a lot of things that people think that we get food cheaper than the
No,
restaurants.
like
They're
I
the
say,
grocery
there's so
stores
much.
too.
There's so much people don't understand about the restaurant business. They don't have a clue.
Wholesale.
Yeah. No,
I don't pay taxes on
hey,
it, just like you don't pay taxes on
It
it at the
goes to the
grocery
rest.
store.
It goes to the grocery stores and the wholesale stores first.
And then we get the slim
And then if you
pickings.
need it, you got to go get in your car and drive over there and get it.
Yeah.
Or you get delivered now. But
So instead of going to the grocery store, I just decided to roast some hatch peppers and go
see,
and
see,
go
now
green
you're back
chili.
to the basics.
So
You're
now
going to even be better.
we're back, and
Hey,
a grilled onion and a hatch pepper with some fire on it.
lots of flavor.
Much better than
Yeah.
that can of Rotel.
Yeah.
I wished I'd have done it different, but
But you know what?
back to the basics.
Back to basics, and guess what?
It's
back
better.
Back to a better flavor profile.
It's 10 times better.
Yeah, and fresh.
And it stays white.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It
It
does.
doesn't turn red throughout the afternoon.
Right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
If it lasts more than 3 hours on the line, then it starts
right.
to go get that little red tint.
Yeah,
to
and
it.
you have my famous queso burger in there, right?
We did.
You take it out again.
We took it out, but stay tuned.
Limited time offer.
No, we're working on bringing back the majority of the last burgers we had on menu.
Okay.
We're gonna within the next 30 days, all of our burgers will be back.
Okay.
Queso burger, even that outlaw chicken fried steak.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's people like that.
Yeah, we're right now we're doing a couple of. We got the queso chicken fried steak. We've the last 90 days we've been pushing some of our old menus items back on our this newest rendition of the menu. We went to a legal size piece of paper.
Okay. Legal sizes are you doing any hot dogs or no?
No,
Okay.
we're not a hot dog place.
I know you're not. I'm just asking. Asking.
And you're not.
Because you
the
know
only
I
one.
like them.
I do, and I
I'm
had
a hot dog hoe.
Had a hot dog for dinner last night. Love a hot dog. But we're a burger place.
Yeah, I
and
know.
We in fact, we tried to bring the hot dog back post COVID I was trying to use up some product that I had.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother story.
Yeah. It didn't work, obviously, so we're all right.
It didn't work. We tried to do. I wasn't going to bring the Mexican hot dog back. That was like 13 items,
I
and
know.
11 of them we didn't use on anything but the hot dog.
It was good though.
Oh, and he's right about the Mexican hot dog, and I get it, but you can't have one trick ponies.
I know.
Items.
Hot dog hoe.
We tried, Trey. I'm not a hot dog destination.
I know you're not. Okay, so
And
listen.
I will stop at anywhere and get a hot dog in any town. If I see a cool hot dog on the spot, I'm stopping.
Yeah,
I'm
as long as you're not
stopping.
making it, selling it.
As long as, and I would love to.
Yeah.
I promise I would love to be the hot dog place, but
I know. It's all
people
right.
come to Fred's
I
for
know.
burgers.
I know. We're so happy that Fred's is here. We're so happy you're carrying the lineage on. We're so happy that you made it through COVID.
Oh,
Fort Worth loves y'all. Hell, all of North Texas loves you.
congratulations to all of y'all that made it through COVID. And man, my hearts are with you
Yeah.
if you didn't make it.
Yeah.
It's tough. We lost some.
So we did lose some. Okay, so Fred's social media. I know Fred's on Graham, Fred's Texas Cafe.
We're on the gram. Fred's Fort Worth
Book of Faces.
TX. We're on the Book of Faces.
Are you on chat? No, probably not on chat. Probably on Snapchat.
I'm not on Snapchat.
Yeah.
I don't understand Snapchat. I don't understand.
Are you on
TikTok?
TikTok?
I heard that I need to get.
You need to be on. You need to be
TikTok.
talking. I TikTok every day now.
I hear I need to.
You
that
need
it's,
to be.
But I.
You need to be in the kitchen with them burgers, TikToking them. I'm telling you, you can put them on TikTok.
I don't even like sitting here looking at me in this. I'm looking at you, so I don't see me over there. I don't know how to TikTok.
I don't know how that's a 60-inch screen or something over there you're looking at.
I don't know how to TikTok. Maybe if somebody could show me what to TikTok. We're trying to stay relevant in the world. The social media is bizarre to me. It's such a time waster, and I love it.
No, you got to do it, though. Y'all go to Fred's. Quincy, thank you.
Is that it?
That's it.